Hey there, welcome to a video discussing NFL Week 6, NFL DFS line construction. This is Gus Almashny from Sportsmanac.com. And sorry we didn't have a video last week. Was preoccupied with some family events. But here we are, trying to get a video out early to you guys and to talk about the games tomorrow. So here we got all the morning and afternoon. There's only 3 afternoon games, so it looks like most of the action will be in the morning. And not too keen on the afternoon games. Baltimore, Tennessee seems like that'll be probably a low-scoring game. Not really too many sexy players on the Ravens, and Ravens defense is very good, so I don't think I'm going to play any Titans. Got Jacksonville, Dallas. Jacksonville, another great defense. Dallas has been kind of struggling and nowhere close to how they were about 2 years ago when Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott kind of lit up the world. So, yeah, I'm not too keen on any Cowboys players. And even Jacksonville, I do like TJ Yeldon, so that's probably one option. Rams at Denver, of course, Rams are a juggernaut of an offense. But keep in mind the weather is going to be about mid-20s and with some snow. Yes, I know it's October, but we got to start watching out for the weather. And of course, I'm not going to play any Broncos players against a really good defense like the Rams. Gurley definitely is in play, though, so we'll talk about Gurley in a little bit. But the games I really want to focus on are Tampa Bay at Atlanta. I think you have to get Matt Ryan or James Winston. You'd be crazy not to. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati could be a good play, too. If you want to go against the grind and try to go for low ownership, you got Chargers at Cleveland. That could probably be a high-scoring game, or the game in London between the Raiders and Seahawks. But I think we're going to focus on Tampa Bay and Atlanta. And weather, again, we really need to watch out for that. Except for a few places, do expect some rain and cooler temperatures. The humidity in Miami is kind of interesting, kind of the opposite of what we're seeing in the rest of the country. Especially with the hurricanes that just came through, so could expect some game time temperatures might be tough on the Bears. Actually, I'm in Chicago right now, and it's pretty cold, so that might be a kind of a shock to the system for the Bears. Maybe not a big deal, but we do have some teams playing in cozy places like within Minnesota in a dome or in Atlanta, which makes us like the Tampa Bay Atlanta game even more. That dome seems to play well for high-scoring games with the fast turf and being indoors. And again, Rams, look at over there, 24 degrees with light snow. Probably great for the run game. I don't think it would be good for the passing game, especially a team from California. Here are some sample lineups, and we'll do the breakdown in just a second. But off to the left is a FanDuel lineup with James Winston going to Mike Evans, so a really good stack. Anthony and Cameron Brate's really cheap. Keep in mind that Brate has thrived when James Winston's a quarterback. So I think we can get some good value with Brate, and Winston Evans could be a phenomenal connection. We could see Evans having over 100 yards and maybe 2 touchdowns. James Winston throwing for maybe 300 to 400 yards and maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns. I know it's optimistic, but people have been lighting up the Falcons all year. Gurley and McCaffrey are 2 very expensive running backs, but if you can get those 2 guys and get value everywhere else, that's phenomenal. I mean, we expect Gurley and McCaffrey to probably hit 30 points, maybe even get close to 40 points. Again, I know we're being very optimistic, but look at their matchups. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Kiki Kuti, not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, has been pretty solid. It's probably not priced high enough, we feel. We'll talk about him. Robbie Anderson finally had a good game. He's very, very fast. I know it's risky, but you are playing tournaments. No Devontae Freeman, so Tevin Coleman. Again, we want to get a lot of action on the Falcons-Bucks game. So Tevin Coleman will get a lot of touches, probably 20-plus touches. And then don't even overthink it. Get the Texans defense. Buffalo's on the road. Buffalo's got a terrible offense. You can also go with Minnesota defense against Arizona. But after what happened with Buffalo at Minnesota, you fool us once, but shame on us if you fool us twice. Or shame on you if you fool us once, I guess. Sorry, I totally butchered that expression, but you know what I mean. I'd rather take Houston simply because Green Bay showed that they could shut out Buffalo. I don't know. I just don't want to risk it again with Minnesota. But you could take Minnesota, but they just haven't had a strong defense this year, and I just would rather go something a little bit certain with Houston taking care of Buffalo. Here are lineups where we're putting Matt Ryan instead of Jameis Winston. You are going to pay a little more, but then you would pay down at running back if you go Ronald Jones, which, again, kind of risky. It could be Peyton Barber, but Ronald Jones is the guy they drafted, and seems like they want to give him more opportunities. It will be a split role, but he is the more talented of the two running backs. But you could stack Ryan with Ridley and Austin Hooper. You could try putting Julio Jones, but you're going to then have to pay down at running back. There's just no way that you can make all this work, just simply because Matt Ryan is a more expensive quarterback. And Austin Hooper is definitely a more expensive tight end on FanDuel, but cheaper in DraftKings, which is kind of interesting. On DraftKings, as we put in Jarvis Landry, you do get rewarded more for points per reception, so he's a great PPR machine. TJ Yeldon, we didn't have him on the FanDuel lineup, but Yeldon's priced pretty well. Again, no Leonard Fournette, he's out. And Gurley's way too expensive, $10,000 in DraftKings. If we get Gurley, we're got like scrap meat for everywhere else. So, we do need to be conscious of pricing on DraftKings for Gurley. But Ridley seems like he does well at home. He's a fast receiver playing on that fast turf. And again, we still have the Texans defense. So these are the lineups we like. Now let's talk about our reasons why we're going with these players. So first off, let's look at some quarterback data. So the what you see up top is what you can find at ESPN.com. And this is a ranking of yards per attempt. You see Tampa Bay ranks dead last, allowing 9.4 yards per attempt. So they've been getting lit up all year. The quarterback rating is 130.5. So, yeah, definitely go with Matt Ryan here. You could probably go Russell Wilson if you like. The Raiders, they haven't been playing great defense. New Orleans, I believe, has a week off. I'm not going to go Josh Rosen. Baker Mayfield, I don't know. That's kind of risky to me. But down below, somebody can find at fantasyguru.com if you do subscribe. But I do subscribe, so here you have it. Yeah, you look at Tampa and Atlanta. They're two of the three worst teams in line of points of quarterbacks for fantasy points. And I believe this is using a PPR formula. Or it might be FanDuel, I can't remember. But regardless, they're not very good. Andy Dalton, if you want to attack Pittsburgh, is another option. Here we got running back data. So up top is what you can find at footballoutsiders.com. So again, you don't have to reinvent the wheels. A lot of great content. You just have to figure out how to curate it, and here I am curating it for you. So this is they have some funky formula for adjusted line yards, and you can see even though Washington doesn't allows a decent 4.42 over here, but for adjusted line yards they're third worst, which really makes us like Christian McCaffrey. Also, they ranked dead last in power rank and stuff rank, so basically, and also second level, which is great for McCaffrey if they're going to feed him the rock and make sure that he's getting some of those tough yardage in those like third and short situations, or say he gets past the defensive line, he's down to the second level, so he's got to now fight off the linebackers. Again, Washington has been very good there, so you kind of look at what Mark Ingram did on Monday night, and Washington's playing a short week, so we really like McCaffrey to do well here. Now we don't see Denver. Actually, we do see Denver up top. Their adjusted line yards is not as bad as what they're actually allowing, because they're actually allowing one of the worst yards of running backs per carry. But again, not very good. They're struggling, and so we think this is going to be great for Todd Gurley. Yes, Todd Gurley's expensive, but he might have low ownership. People might shy away. And keep in mind, this game is being played in weather perfect for the running game. Cold weather, potentially some snow. I think this is a great opportunity for Gurley to go off. And you see Atlanta's also not very good at the run game. So even though Tampa Bay doesn't run the ball well, they've been passing a lot, maybe because they've been playing a lot of shootouts. This still could work well for Ronald Jones. And if you are thinking of James Conner, Cincinnati's right there. And here we got wide receiver data, and Tampa Bay just got awful. They're ranking dead last pretty much in all these categories here. They allow a lot of production to number 1 and 2 receivers, even tight ends, even running backs. So again, Tevin Coleman, great play. Atlanta also not great. So don't shy away from Payne Barber or Ronald Jones a second. Maybe Mike Davis is an option. So I know we haven't put any Seattle players, but I might reconsider that now after looking at the data again. And New Orleans hasn't been great, but again, they're on bye. We got Tampa Bay again. This is Fantasy Guru, up above Football Outsiders, by the way. FantasyGuru.com. Tampa Bay again, not very good. Atlanta, not very good. Pittsburgh, not very good. So there we got some interesting data to look at. This here is from a Pro Football Focus. If you look in the grades here, so here you got Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu, and just look at the grades for their corners. They're going to dominate them. Even the defensive line, not very good, and a pretty decent offensive line for Atlanta. So Matt Ryan should have a pretty clean pocket for most of the game. Austin Hooper also pretty good. Paulson's probably there for more for blocking purposes. Then on the flip side, here you got the Atlanta defense against Tampa Bay offense. Again, Deshaun Jackson, not sure if I really want to go. It's a little risky. James Winston seems to prefer Evans. Great, okay. Offensive line's not great, but decent. But the Atlanta defense doesn't scare ourselves, especially with all the injuries they've had. So yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be a long season for the Atlanta defense. And then finally, we're going to end off by talking about our sleeper here, Kiki. Probably not so much a sleeper, but this guy's a good receiver. He's not some scrub that just had a couple of good games. I mean, yes, he's the number 3 guy in Houston, but that's actually a good thing. With DeAndre Hopkins most likely getting double teamed. They are playing Buffalo. Buffalo's got a decent defense, but given how bad Buffalo's offense is, we think there's a good correlation where the Buffalo defense will be on the field often because the Buffalo offense won't be on the field often. So we do think Houston's going to wear out the Buffalo defense. And again, Hopkins might get double teamed. There's also Will Fuller. But this guy's a good guy. I mean, he's a Texas native. Grew up in Texas, went to Texas Tech. His last year at Texas Tech put up great numbers. So small guy, but looks like he knows how to get open, runs good routes, and very cheap. So you hopefully get maybe 6-7 receptions, 78 yards, maybe a touchdown. Do all the math, that's over 20 points. You're already getting 3 to 4x value. So we don't want to keep this video too long. But yeah, so that's what we're thinking about. And again, going back to our potential lineups, this is the Tampa Bay stack. You could probably even throw in Chris Godwin. I know we didn't. Actually, we did do that on the DraftKings one. So yeah, Evans and Godwin. If you like Deshaun Jackson, at first I don't. I think it's a little too inconsistent. But if you want to do all the permutations, definitely consider that. And of course, this is the Matt Ryan stack with kind of really could try putting Julio Jones. It just means you're gonna have to find another running back. Maybe we could pay down and not do Gurley and do TJ Yeldon on the FanDuel lineup. So a lot of different options you can go with here. So we wish you guys luck, and we'll check in again next week.